Inflation further slows for fifth straight month in March. Prices of onions in local markets slump due to oversupply. Another oil price hike seen next week. President Rodrigo Duterte warns to suspend writ of habeas corpus and declare a revolutionary government. And a London startup turns lobster shells into plastic alternative. Good evening. Oil price is seen to increase next week, according to industry players. Meanwhile, the Department of Energy has finished the circular for the unbundling of fuel price, which will be beneficial for consumers. Monokson will tell us why.
After the small price rollback, an increase in fuel prices is seen next week. According to industry players, there may be a 15 centavo per liter increase for diesel and a 25 centavo increase for gasoline. But the increase may even go higher or lower, depending on the remaining trading days. The oil price hike is due to the movement of pump prices in the world market, according to the Department of Energy. Meanwhile, the DOE already finished drafting the circular on the unbundling of fuel prices. This will order oil companies to reveal how they set the price of petroleum products. Before, the DOE only received the actual price that is to be implemented in a particular week. If the unbundling of fuel prices is implemented, oil companies will have to submit to the DOE data on oil price every week. Data to be submitted include world market prices, refinery price, retailing costs, taxes and duties, and profit margin. Aside from this, the DOE will have an annual check on the base price of oil for the entire year. With this, prices will be more transparent and collusion among oil companies will be avoided.
Nakikita na po natin na mismo yung base price ay mayroon ng kasamang review ngayon ng government. Hindi lang yung adjustment na weekly na ginawa natin. So, this will resolve yung mga comments before that price has not changed. Yung base price, hindi nagbago mula nung madirect way back nung 1998.
A consumer group supports the DOE's move on their unbundling circular. However, it was dismayed with the delay of the circular. Because of this, consumers have no idea how oil companies set their prices. The draft circular is now being checked by the DOE legal team before the final approval of Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Taguig City.
The price of onions in several markets has gone down by 30 pesos per kilogram. These onions are being sold alongside newly harvested ones from local farms. Joan Nano tells us why.
Several onion vendors in Balintawak Market and Mega Q-Mart in Quezon City are complaining over slack sales this past few days. This as the price of onions has just gone down by 30 pesos per kilogram from the previous price of 60 pesos due to oversupply.
Bintahan, medyo matumal talaga. Walang ganong customer, marami nagtitinda sa labas kasi mura.
Medyo matumal kasi mababa masyado. Sobrang dami po. Sobrang dami pong supply tapos lahat po ng palengke binababaan nila.
According to Rosendo So, the chairman of a leading agricultural group in the country, Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG, the Department of Agriculture imported 80 million kilograms of onions last year. These onions had been in a cold storage for several months and are now being sold in the markets along with those newly harvested onions from local farmers.
So, linalabas ngayon yan and kasabay ng harvest natin. Kaya, kawawa yung mga magsasaka ngayon. 6 pesos na lang ang presyo. Yung dapat na madiretso sa palengke, hindi nila madala sa palengke.
Onion farmers who used to sell their produce at 30 pesos per kilogram have reduced their prices to only 10 pesos per kilogram. And this is why they have been suffering losses.
Kahit mabawi lang yung puhunan namin. Lang 3/4 sa gastos namin, mabawi lang, okay na sana.
The Agriculture Department said as of now, national production of onions has reached 70%. Next year, the agency is targeting to construct cold storages near onion farms for local onion farmers to use. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Inflation rate in the country further eased down in March. Based on the report of the Philippine Statistics Authority, the annual inflation decreased to 3.3% last month, which is the slowest since January 2018. Malacanang says the government will not be complacent despite the continuous deceleration of inflation rate. The palace will also remain vigilant in keeping a close watch on the prices of goods and commodities with the onslaught of El Niño and effects of production. The palace is confident about the downward path of inflation with the Rice Tariffication Act. However, the Duterte administration appeals to the public to participate in water preservation to increase resiliency against extreme weather conditions. Despite the prevailing El Niño phenomenon in the country, farmers in San Roque, Pangasinan say they do not have any irrigation problems. Grace Casin will tell us why.
This is the San Roque Dam in Pangasinan. Located in the municipality of San Roque, San Manuel, Pangasinan. It is the largest dam in the Philippines, the largest man-made hydro installation in Southeast Asia, and the third largest in entire Asia. The San Roque Reservoir has a large holding capacity of 525 million cubic meters active storage and 120 cubic meters flood surcharge. With rice fields in many parts of the country affected by the El Niño phenomenon, farmers around the San Roque Dam are not worried because their rice fields continues to be irrigated. With a construction cost of $1.19 billion, the San Roque Dam can irrigate at least 87,000 hectares of rice fields, including those in nearby towns of San Manuel, Asingan, Urdaneta, Manawag, Santa Barbara, and Malasiki. Farmers say their crops are not affected by drought and they do not experience losses.
Patuloy ang patubig namin sa papalayan namin. Siguro gaganda ang anihan mi ngayon, dry season.
Kasi yan ang isang katulungan namin sa pagsasaka at maraming mabibenepisyon na magsasaka.
The San Roque hydro installation is used not only in irrigation but also in flood control and water quality improvement for the surrounding region. It is also where the San Roque power plant sits with 3 power generation units of 115 megawatts each. The San Roque power plant provides an annual energy generation of 1,065 gigawatt hours from the 345 megawatt hydroelectric power plant. The community also benefits from the taxes the operator of the hydro installation pays.
Nag-average sila ng payment from 12 to 33 million doon sa mga taon na sila ay nag-operate. Doon ang bracket ng binabayaran nila.
However, one issue that needs to be addressed is the increase of dwellers in the upper part of the dam.
Pagka kasi marami ng tao upstream, siyempre, saan sila dumibili? Saan sila makukuha? So, makakakuha yun sa...
The dam construction began in 1998 and it became operational in 2003 with a height of 200 meters above the existing river valley floor. The National Power Corporation says the San Roque Dam can be utilized for 50 years more. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte has warned again of declaring revolutionary government and suspending writ of habeas corpus. But according to a member of the opposition, the chief executive must not be cranky. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Revolution is the basis of creating a revolutionary government, and the leader has all the powers to administer without limitations or regulations. While if the writ of habeas corpus is suspended, warrantless arrest can be done. In his speech during the 31st Annual Convention of the Prosecutors League of the Philippines in Puerto Princesa, Palawan last night, President threatened to declare a revolutionary government and to suspend writ of habeas corpus if he is pushed to the wall.
I have enough problems with criminality, drugs, rebellion and all. Pero pag ako ang pinaabot ninyo ng sagad, I will declare the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus. And I will arrest all of you. So kung hindi ako kasama kayo sa mga rebelde, mga kriminal, pati yung mga durugista, then pahirapan mo ako, I will declare a revolutionary war until the end of my term. Then pasensyahan tayo.
Meanwhile, senatoriable and the lead counsel of Vice President Leni Robredo, Attorney Romulo Macalintal, says Robredo will replace President Duterte if revolutionary government will be pushed through. Robredo will be the president of the democratic government, while President Duterte will be the revolutionary government leader. However, President Duterte clarified he just wants to warn the abusive elitists in the country who use their money and influence to win the contracts with the government. It can be noted that President has ordered to review all the agreements entered into by the government because of a detrimental provision of the agreement between the water concessionaire Maynilad and the government. The chief executive also hit Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon because Senator Drilon has urged the government to be careful in reviewing all government contracts and loan agreement.
Kung hindi ako gaya sa kanila just being complacent, be careful of legalities of what? How dare you say that to me, Mr. Drilon? Sa inyo yan eh. There is a contract, sir. The Republic, this Republic of the Philippines, cannot hinder or hinder, cannot interrupt in the matter of the rates. Ano? Kaya ako sabi ko, tinapon mas cabinet meeting, was it last night? The other night. Kung ayusin ninyo, I will not honor ninyo. Eh ano, kung magkagulo tayo. Do not push me to the wall. Ay, alam mo, naging presidente ako dahil sa ng tao.
Meanwhile, the opposition reacts to the recent statement of the president. Oppositionist and senatoriable Shell Jokno tells President Duterte not to be cranky because if he really declares a revolutionary government or RevGov, this is treachery to the Constitution and to the Filipino people. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The sight of plastic pollution in the world's oceans is all too familiar, but shellfish such as lobsters could offer a solution to the scourge of single-use plastic. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
London-based startup The Shellworks is developing a method to transform the chitin from the shells of lobsters and other crustaceans, which are normally destined for the rubbish tip, into a novel bioplastic that's both biodegradable and recyclable. The shells are first pulverized in a blender before being broken down further in various solutions to extract the chitin, which makes up about 30 to 40% of the shell.
It's antifungal and antibacterial, which means that it would be really interesting for storing foods. And at the end of life, it's actually a non-polluting fertilizer. So even if you had a bag at home, you could just chop it up, throw it into your plant pots, and it would just help them grow.
The Shellworks, made up of Nasia Jaffarji and Amir Afshar, along with fellow founders Ed Jones and Andrew Edwards, are now testing chitin-based recipes for products traditionally made from single-use plastic, including the all-pervasive plastic shopping bag.
We've actually been speaking to different chains in London and getting the shells from them because it's quite an easy collection point. They actually have to separate their shellfish waste from their food waste, so it's already separated and we can kind of just collect it and use it for our experiments.
According to Jaffarji, there are enough waste shells to make a serious dent on the UK's plastic use. One London lobster chain with 9 restaurants, she said, produces 375 tons of waste shells a year. Globally, Some 500 billion disposable plastic bags are used every year, according to the United Nations. Nearly a third of plastic packaging escapes waste collection systems, and at least 8 million tons of plastic leak into the oceans each year, smothering reefs and threatening marine life. Niño, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Some senators expressed their worries over the presence of Chinese vessels near the Pag-asa Island. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian calls on concerned agencies to help fishermen to continue with their livelihood in the Panatag Shoal. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
We should be reminded of what we sing every Monday morning during our flag ceremony. This is what Senator Panfilo Lacson said in a statement as he emphasizes that the government should not allow Chinese vessels to encircle Pag-asa Island. He said he will also volunteer to join President Rodrigo Duterte if he decides to visit the island. Pag-asa Island is the largest of 9 islands occupied by the Philippines in Spratlys Island. There are civilians residing in the area. Another senator, Senator Risa Ontiveros, filed in Senate a resolution that seeks to probe the presence of Chinese vessels within the territories of the Philippines, as well as the reported 600 Chinese vessels encircling the Pag-asa Island. In a statement, the Department of Foreign Affairs said the presence of the Chinese vessels in the area is indeed illegal and is a clear violation of Philippine sovereignty under the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The DFA also said the Philippines has consistently manifested its position in the Pag-asa Island and in the Kalayaan Island Group and expressed its objections over the tensions in the region. According to Senator Franklin Drilon, the diplomatic protest filed against China is enough to maintain our positions in the West Philippine Sea.
Protest signifies our country's formal objection to the legality of the acts committed and will indicate that we have no intention of abandoning our claims.
Meanwhile, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian calls on the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BIFAR to take actions to help the Filipino fishermen who have been affected by the maritime disputes, particularly those Filipino fishermen reportedly harassed by Chinese vessels.
Ang BIFAR dapat kasama ang DFA gumawa ng diplomatic approach dito, no? Instead na wag payagan dahil naghahanap buhay sila eh. No, at wala namang gagawin silang pananakop sa Panatag Shoal eh. So I think ang pinakamaganda diyan ay show of good faith na payagan ng ating mga mangingisda doon na mangisda dahil of course atin naman 'yun.
The DFA calls on all parties to desist any action or activities that contravenes the ASEAN-China Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea or DOC to prevent any tensions or mistrust. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte tells China to remove their vessels near the Pag-asa Island. The chief executive says he will not allow China to occupy the said island. Rosa Dicos tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has no plans of violently driving away Chinese vessels in Philippine waters for now. This was one of his statements during the PDP Laban campaign rally in Puerto Princesa, Palawan last night.
It's not no need. We go into a compromise for the time being. Kasi hindi nga if we go to war or there is a violent conflict, we would never win and I would suffer beyond imagination. I would just go there and send my soldiers and policemen to be slaughtered. I am not prepared to do that.
The president also delivered his statement for China on the reported hundreds of Chinese vessels present near Pag-asa Island in the first quarter of this year as a word of advice to a friend.
So, let us be friends but do not touch Pag-asa Island and the rest. Otherwise, things would be different. This is not a warning, this is just a word of advice to my friends. Kasi kaibigan tayo ng China. So, ay nakikiusap ako. I will not plead or beg. But I'm just telling you that lay off the Pag-asa because may mga sundalo ako dyan.
The chief executive stood firm that Pag-asa Island is ours and he will not let China occupy it. The Department of Foreign Affairs has also called the presence of Chinese vessels near the island illegal. The president also said he will determine the next action to take if any Filipino gets hurt while the Chinese vessels are present there.
At pag yan ang ginalaw ninyo, ibang istorya na yan. Di sabihin ko na yung mga sundalo ko, prepare for suicide missions.
Before this, the fourth bilateral consultation mechanism was held between the Philippines and China in Manila to thresh out the issues on the territorial dispute. According to Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Geng Shuang, the talks were frank, friendly, and constructive.
During the meetings, both sides exchanged views in a frank, friendly, and constructive manner on the issues which each side is concerned about, such as the recent situation in the South China Sea and maritime activities. Both sides proactively discussed ways to resolve these issues. Both sides reiterated that they wanted to continue to expand cooperation and discuss measures to promote trust.
Both China and the Philippines reiterate that the territorial dispute in the South China Sea should be resolved peacefully by parties directly involved. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A foreign vessel recently seen in the Lobo River in Batangas is now temporarily docked at the Batangas port. And with this, the residents and the local government of Lobo, Batangas remain to preserve the marine life in their precious body of water. Joanna will tell us why.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR will head for Lobo, Batangas on Saturday to check if there have been damages in marine life and resources in the Lobo River. This after MV Emerald, a foreign vessel carrying a foreign crew, left the waters of Lobo Friday morning. Residents near the Lobo River are glad now that the ship is gone. They had worried their marine riches would be destroyed after almost a week-long stay of the foreign vessel.
Kami nangangamba ho at dahil ang unang naming pinagkikitaan lang ho dito ay ang pag-iisda. Kami nagpapasalamat at kami hindi na ho nangangambang magaling naman nakaalis na.
Kung yan ho ay masisira ang ating karagatan, ang mga buhangin, yan ho ay magkakaroon ng malaking epekto dito sa ating karagatan at kawaawa naman ho ang aming mga mangingisda na baka sila'y wala nang mahuling isda sa banda diyan pa.
It can be recalled the vessel crew wanted to conduct dredging activities in Lobo River this week, but the local government of Lobo did not permit them to do so.
Kaninang umaga, magkausap kami ni PPA Administrator, si Atty. Biscotso, at sabi niya nag-issue na siya ng order kahapon pa. Dahil ang naging basihan nila ay yung suspension order ng DENR.
Mayor Manalo added the ship is temporarily docked at the Batangas port after given permission by the Philippine Port Authority.
Ang arrangement namin ni PPA, ililipat lang sa Batangas Pier. Dahil ang wordings ng DENR ay suspension lang, hindi total cancellation ng ACC. So, hindi natin alam kung paano mangyayari at antabayan natin kung ano magiging aksyon ng proper government. Pero kami dito sa LGU ng Lobo, ay sinasabi ko na hindi kami papayag.
The residents and the local government of Lobo, Batangas hope MV Emerald or other foreign vessels will not set sail in the Lobo River in the future. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA will penalize motorists who will violate the 60 km/h speed limit. The speed limit to be imposed is based on the agreement among Metro Manila mayors in their recent Metro Manila Council meeting. The MMDA has published a copy of the order in papers. The order will take effect beginning April 9. The speed limit policy will be effective on EDSA and radial and circumferential roads and other major thoroughfares. The speed limit policy aims to prevent road accidents caused by overspeeding. Meanwhile, the Commission on Elections continues to prepare for the overseas absentee voting for the May 2019 elections. The poll body is also working hard to promote and encourage Filipinos to exercise the right to suffrage. Mirasol Abogadil will tell us why.
COMELEC has only 8 days left for the advanced election days for the absentee voting, which is set to start on the 13th of April. Special Board of Election Inspectors or SBEIs have already been deployed to Philippine embassies, consulates, and other voting precincts authorized by the Commission on Elections or COMELEC to hold absentee voting for the 2019 midterm elections. COMELEC has also confirmed that all the machines, including automated and manual personal ballots, were already shipped to respective countries.
Halos patapos na kami sa training nila. Kaming mga yung COMELEC, nag-train kami ng mga tinatawag nating special board of election inspectors doon para sila na ang magpa-eleksyon doon sa mga kanya-kanyang post.
COMELEC has accounted over 1.8 million overseas absentee voters in different parts of the globe, but only 31% were able to vote in the 2016 presidential and national elections, which is also why, under the overseas absentee voting, voters are limited to vote for national positions only. And with the 2019 midterm elections, they may only vote senatorial and party list candidates. The voting period for an overseas voter is from April 13 to May 13, 2019. On March 12, 2019, the Commission on Elections through the Office for Overseas Voting declared a suspension of casting of votes in overseas voting on April 18 to 19, 2019, local time of host country. The Commission is also looking to find ways to make internet voting possible in future elections without compromising security. COMELEC's Office for Overseas Voting Director Eliza David said the proposal will significantly lower the cost for absentee voting, and the process will be lighter for both COMELEC and the absentee voters who have a hard time voting in other countries.
Isa yun sa mga naging problema, ang distance nga daw nung residence ng voter doon sa post kung saan siya dapat bumoto. Yung mga ano rin kaming mga information na kadalasan din sa Middle East, yung hindi sila pinapayagan ng amo nila pagboboto.
Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV, News and Rescue.
There's a new kind of pitch opened in Russia, which is one big step towards a drive to be socially responsible with plastic. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
A taste of last summer's World Cup returned to Russia on Thursday as a new soccer pitch made out of recycled plastic beer cups was opened. Belgian brewer AB InBev launched the white and red colored pitch in Sochi, the host city of the 2014 Winter Olympics, at a new facility known as the Budweiser Recup Arena. It happened after the firm reprocessed tons of plastic at a plant in the Russian city Tver to build the pitch. That material came from more than 50,000 cups collected at Russian stadiums, which hosted the 2018 World Cup, and fan areas where supporters gathered to watch their teams. Italian World Cup winner Marco Materazzi was present at the opening ceremony and praised the idea of playing football on a pitch made of recycled plastic.
You can play soccer anywhere, even on asphalt, so there are really no borders for playing soccer. But I am sure that it is a very good pitch to play on, and I am sure that Bud Company's initiative will be widely used.
AB InBev Marketing Director Konstantin Tamirov also said it was important for the firm to help build the new pitch as part of a drive to be socially responsible with plastic.
It is important for us to lower the impact on the environment, and the plastic we use could be used better.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue.
And for the news abroad, the Ethiopian government assures its commitment to aviation safety as it released the first official report on the Boeing MAX 8 airplane crash that killed 157 people. Kafto Maraos will tell us why.
Preliminary investigation results on doomed Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 plane discovered that the pilots followed Boeing required procedures but could not control the flight, the Ethiopian government said on Thursday. The Nairobi-bound Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 crashed near Bishoftu town, about 45 kilometers from the capital Addis Ababa, just minutes after taking off from Bole International Airport, killing all 157 people aboard.
The crew performed all the procedures repeatedly provided by the manufacturer, but was not able to control the aircraft.
The minister also noted that preliminary investigation results also revealed that the doomed aircraft possessed a valid certificate of airworthiness and the crew obtained the licenses and qualifications to conduct the flight. She also revealed that the takeoff roll appeared very normal. In line with international rules on air accidents, the preliminary report did not attribute blame, nor did it give a detailed analysis of the flight, which is expected to take several months before a final report due within a year. According to MOGAS, 2 safety recommendations have been forwarded based on the initial information gathered during the course of the preliminary investigation.
The first one is, since repetitive, uncommanded aircraft nose-down conditions are noticed in this preliminary investigation, it is recommended that the aircraft flight control system related to the flight controllability shall be reviewed by the manufacturer. And the second one is, aviation authorities shall verify that the review of the aircraft flight control system related to flight controllability has been adequately addressed by the manufacturer before release of the aircraft to operations.
The preliminary investigation report was made on the basis of the data from the recorders of the doomed Boeing 737 MAX 8. The preliminary report into the Lion Air disaster said the pilots lost control after grappling with the plane's maneuvering characteristics augmentation system software, a new automated anti-stall feature that repeatedly lowered the nose of the aircraft based on faulty data from a sensor. Boeing said on Wednesday it had successfully tested an update of the MCAS software designed to reduce its authority and make it easier for pilots to handle. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
As U.S. President Donald Trump prepares to travel to Calexico, California to view a border wall project, residents of the border town voiced hopes and concerns ahead of Trump's visit. Niño Arbillo explains why.
54-year-old Lucia Jimenez lives in Cathedral City, California, but she travels across the border a few times a month to visit her son and grandchildren in Mexicali. She said she supports Trump, but not when it comes to closing the border.
As far as Trump, I'm 100% on certain things. And about closing the border, it's going to be hard on a lot of people who work, that come and go. It's going to be hard on the children that come and go to school here and everything. So I just hope that they won't close it.
Trump prompted panic in the U.S. business community last Friday by saying he would likely close the border this week to deal with a surge of migrants from Central America, but has since walked back the threat, but raised a new specter of eventually slapping tariffs on car imports from Mexico unless it does more to stop illegal migrants and drugs. Many people cross the border in both directions daily to go to work and to visit family. Taxi driver Alejandro Lopez works in Calexico but lives in Mexicali. He said he would face financial hardships if the border were to close.
I come and go to work here, so my income would drop and I wouldn't be able to pay my rent and my bills. And this is not just me, but a lot of my colleagues too. If it closes, that will make things difficult.
Trump made stopping illegal migration a centerpiece of his 2016 run for the White House, pledging to build a wall on the border to stop migrants. When Congress refused to give him the money to pay for the wall, he declared a national emergency to divert funds from other projects.
Basically, they're going against people that are just trying to have a better life. I mean, I don't really agree on jumping over the border. I don't agree on that because it's dangerous. they're using force if you want to get over. But I mean, the drug traffickers and stuff, they're not catching nobody.
While some Trump critics say he was bluffing, closing the southern border is not unprecedented.
Well, they deported my husband in 2005 for not having an address, a physical address. That's been already 14 years now. I have 2 children with him, and basically I want my family together, what everybody wants in life, and I want to keep us together.
Niño Emilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The location of a London spy agency has been revealed after being unknown to the public for more than 65 years. Here's Mon Hokson to tell us why.
A nondescript red brick building tucked away beside a pub near a park in central London was revealed on Friday to have been the base of one of the world's most sophisticated spy services, Britain's Government Communications Headquarters, or GCHQ eavesdropping agency. GCHQ, which gathers communications from around the world to identify and disrupt threats to Britain, only revealed the Palmer Street address, its London home, for 66 years after moving out. GCHQ Director Jeremy Fleming did not say where in London the secretive spy agency had moved to. The eavesdropping agency traces its history back to 1919 and is best known for breaking Germany's Enigma code during World War II. It works closely with the Secret Intelligence Service and the MI5 Security Service. Government Communications Headquarters, futuristic donut headquarters, is in the English city of Cheltenham, but it moved into its London Palmer Street office in 1953. The Palmer Street hub has played its part in significant events over the years, such as the 2012 London Olympics, GCHQ said. GCHQ has other offices in Cornwall, Scarborough, Lincolnshire, and Harrogate. The National Cybersecurity Center, which is part of GCHQ, opened its new headquarters near Victoria in London in 2017. GCHQ has a close relationship with the U.S. National Security Agency as well as with the eavesdropping agencies of Australia, Canada, and New Zealand in a consortium called Five Eyes. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
The man charged with killing rapper Nipsey Hussle pleaded not guilty to murder and attempted murder charges. Meanwhile, the United Nations called on Libyan forces to exert restraint after Eastern Libyan commander Khalifa Haftar ordered his troops to march on the capital, Tripoli. Ferdy Petalio will tell us why.
In Libya, Eastern Libyan commander Khalifa Haftar ordered his troops to march on the capital, Tripoli, taking his conflict with the internationally recognized government to a dangerous new level. Haftar made his order in a video posted online hours after his forces took full control of Garian. UN Secretary General Antonio Dutertes, who is in Tripoli trying to push an international peace deal, called for restraint. The capture of Garian after skirmishes on Wednesday with forces allied to Tripoli-based Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj followed a rapid thrust westward by Haftar's Libyan National Army from his eastern stronghold of Benghazi. The developments mark a dramatic escalation of a power tussle that has dragged on in Libya since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. In Turkey, Turkish police arrested some 200 migrants in the past 2 days, traveling to the northern province of Edirne in a bid to cross into Greece by land. Encouraged by social media campaign, large group of migrants have been coming to Edirne to reach Turkish-Greek border, and police tighten up security in the city to prevent them. State-run Anadolu agency reported. In 2015, Turkey became one of the main launch points for more than 1 million migrants, taking the sea route to European Union territory, many fleeing conflict and poverty in the Middle East and Africa. And in USA, a 29-year-old Los Angeles man pleaded innocent on Thursday, killing Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, and was ordered held on a $5 million bail. Eric Ronald Holder, who was arrested earlier this week in connection with a fatal shooting, entered his pleas to murder and attempted murder charges through his attorney during a brief hearing in Los Angeles Superior Court. Holder, who was formally charged earlier in the day, appeared in court behind bars in a holding cell and spoke only in response to acknowledge his rights. Hassel, whose real name was Ermias Asgedom, was shot multiple times on March 31st outside his Marathon clothing store in South Los Angeles. 2 other people were wounded in the gunfire. Ferdy Petalio, UNTV News and Rescue.
A fast food service crew brings inspiration to fellow working students. Mirasol Abugadil will tell us why.
Hard work, determination, self-confidence. These are what drove Cherry Toledo to win her battle during the school year 2018-2019. A student at daytime and a fast food restaurant crew member at night. This was how Cherry completed Bachelor of Science in Psychology in the University of San Jose Recoletos in Cebu City as the magna cum laude of her batch.
Of course, dili man jud na malikayan ang pagka-stress no and pagkakapoy and pagkaduka inside sa class. How much more if working ka until midnight. So, of course, there are times na makatug ko sa klase and akong buhaton lang jud is kanang ako lang na yan, akong kamot, ako ipa kusi sa akong miga nga kusiya sa bigay kanang duka na jud kayo ko.
Cherry said she is not ashamed of working in a fast food chain because her earnings go to pay her boarding house rent, school projects, and everyday expenses. The challenge is to balance work, study, and her personal life. She also wants to serve as an inspiration to working students like her.
With all the experiences that I have, I think I am in the right place to say this. To all working scholars, to all part-timers, to all organization leaders, if you want something, you can. Just put your mind and heart to it and you will achieve it. And of course, have the motivation and support from your friends and family because this life is not a one-man game. You need people to support you and guide you along the way.
While waiting for a psychometrician licensure examination, which she needs to take, she continues to work in a fast food chain restaurant.
322 for your change, ma'am. Orders complete, ma'am. Thank you. Enjoy.
Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV News and Rescue.
More and more people witness the preaching style of international televangelist Brother Eli Soriano, and many say his frankness in speaking and teaching Bible verses have paved the way for them to be indulged in reading the Bible more. Jun Soria will tell us why.
Brother Eli Soriano is celebrating his 55th year in service to Members Church of God International, or MCGI. At the age of 72, he is relentless in preaching the words of God in different parts of the world. Although Brother Eli is not in the Philippines now, many say they are witnesses to his good works. It was in 2016 when retired Police Major General Roel Obusan began listening to Brother Eli Soriano. Retired General Obusan is a former chief of the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or PNP-CIDG. He said he was moved by Brother Eli's style in preaching, and as he continued to listen to Brother Eli, his perspective in life gradually changed.
Nung nakikinig bago matulog, naging habit ko na makinig sa kanya. Naging pampatulog ko si Brother Eli nung una. Until, siyempre, abang na-appreciate mo kung anong sinasabi niya. And then, pag magbasa ka din sa verses sa Biblia, nandun yung sinasabi. Kaya na-arouse yung aking intellect to listen some more. Naging makatotohanan yung pagtanaw ko sa Biblia, hindi na naging mechanical na parang sa simbahan, naluluhod ka, whatever. Merong program, may platform yung bawat mass, may time limit. Pero pagka yung kay Brother Eli, you really have to go with the Bible.
All of these are in the Bible.
Si Brother Eli, the way he preaches, talagang brutally frank. Wala yung talagang diretso. Pero ina-admire ko naman yung pagiging diretso niya. Direct to the Bible, strong yung pagsabi, stress talaga.
Ask me any question!
Naiba sa mga ibang pastor na malumanay, parang mabagal magsalita, na parang inuunti-unti ka. Doon kasalungat si Brother Eli sa style ng pagtuturo. Pero how it is effective, kung talagang ma-appreciate mo, mapapakinggan mo, effective yung kanya dahil meron kayong foundation na pinagkukunan. What I mean sa foundation, nandun talaga sa verses ng Biblia.
The former PNP CIDG chief added that he learns a lot from watching Brother Eli's award-winning program, which he is not ashamed of saying despite being a lawyer.
Marami ka namang matututunan, from scientific to biblical, from human nature to biblical, from health reasons to biblical, pati nga pagsisigarilyo nasa Biblia sa kanya eh. Pati everything na kapag talagang gusto mong sundin, a very regimented life ang gagawin mo dahil yun naman talaga ang hinihingi ng Diyos.
General Obusan is also well up on the allegations thrown against the most controversial religious personality in the Philippines. But that is not his perspective in his search for meaning and faith, he said. For him, what matters are the good works of Brother Eli and the Members Church of God International.
Makikita mo rin sa lungat, pag makita mo ang UNTV, makikita mo yung public service part, which nakaka-appreciate talaga. Meron akong nakitang bus kayo na libreng sakay, may nakita akong charity works nyo. So, service to God, tapos service to humanity pa. Kaya seldom ka na kasing makakita ng ganun ka-frequent sa mga ibang congregations. Kaya the more na nalalapit yung pagtingin ko sa larangan na ginagawa ni Brother Eli na service to humanity and service to God.
General Obusan had served in the military and police for over 36 years before he retired. He shares that now he has longer time to watch Brother Eli's sensible program.
Brother Eli, sana tumagal pa ang serbisyo mo sa humanity at sa country natin. Kasi alam kong 72 years old ka na, you should have more long years to serve. Kailangan ka pa namin. Kaya Brother Eli, happy 72nd birthday and happy 55th anniversary in serving God and humanity. Mabuhay ka.
Jun Suriao, UNTV, News and Rescue.
We would like to greet Happy International Thanksgiving to the Members Church of God International and happy 55th year in service to God and humanity, Brother Eli Soriano. And those are the reasons behind the news this April 5, 2019. On behalf of Angela Lagunsad, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
I have enough problems with criminality, drugs, rebellion and all. Pero pag ako ang pinaabot ninyo ng sagad, I will declare the suspension of the writ of previous courts. And I will arrest all of you. So kung hindi ako kasama kayo sa mga rebelde, mga kriminal, pati yung mga dorobista, then pahirapan mo ako, I will declare a revolutionary war until the end of my term. Then pasensyahan tayo.
We're conducting an investigation then on the influx of foreign nationals here in the Philippines and yung mga reports po ng mga possible illegal workers na nagpupunta po dito. So, hindi po natin masabi kung ito po ay mga sindikato o kaya naman ito po ay mga grupo lamang ng mga foreign nationals who plan on not following the law.
But do not touch Pag-asa Island and the rest. Otherwise, things would be different. This is not a warning, this is just a word of advice to my friends. Kasi kaibigan tayo ng China. So, ay nakikiusap ako. I will not plead or beg, but I'm just telling you that lay off the Pag-asa because may mga sundalo ako dyan.
The crew performed all the procedures repeatedly provided by the manufacturer, but was not able to control the aircraft.
With all the experiences that I have, I think I am in the right place to say this. To all working scholars, to all part-timers, to all organization leaders, if you want something, you can just put your mind and heart to it and you will achieve it. And of course, have the motivation and support from your friends and family, because this life is not a one-man game.
Si Brother Eli, the way he preaches, talagang brutally frank. Wala yung talagang diretso. Pero ina-admire ko naman yung pagiging diretso niya. Direct to the Bible, strong yung pagsabi, stress talaga. Naiiba sa mga ibang pastor na malumanay, parang mabagal magsalita, na parang inuunti-unti ka. Doon kasalungat si Brother Eli sa style ng pagtuturo. Pero how it is effective, kung talagang ma-appreciate mo, mapapakinggan mo, effective yung kanya dahil meron kayong foundation na pinagkukunan. What I mean sa foundation, nandun talaga sa verses ng Biblia.